In this video, I'm gonna teach you all the shots that I use for filming real estate videos. Let's get straight into it.
Good morning. It's about 7:45 in the morning. We're heading off to a luxury shoot for 8 o'clock. I thought that this would be a perfect opportunity to share with you guys and teach you guys the shots that I use for filming luxury real estate. So with that all said, I'll see you there.
The first shot is the wide straight push. This is the most essential and basic shot for real estate videography. However, it is very important to get it dialed in, as it's gonna be the building blocks and foundation for all your videos.
So to do this, I'm gonna shoot into the kitchen. I don't know if you can still see me. I'm gonna shoot into the kitchen and I'm gonna bend my knees. I'm gonna lock my elbows in to my sides. I'm actually gonna point the camera forward a little bit. I'm gonna lean forward. And I'm just gonna be walking with bend in my knees, heel toe in a straight line. And I watch the camera to make sure it's not moving up and down. It's not moving side to side. All right, there it is. That's it. That's so simple. Extend all the way as far as you can. All right, so here's another example going into the living room here. You want to get as much distance as possible. So I don't know if you can see in frame. I'm actually starting all the way back by the kitchen island. I'm gonna lock my center kind of right there in the frame, in the center of the room. I'm gonna walk, move forward, all the way through, get as much distance as possible. We'll see that again. So as much distance, and I'm just moving forwards. Extend. The reason you want to get as much distance as possible is because that allows for smoother ramps. Okay, so the next shot is the wide curve push. Now, same fundamentals to the wide straight push, but the wide curve push is, well, we're adding a curve. So what you want to do is put all the pressure on the wrist, and as I'm walking, I'm going to be turning and leading with that wrist, and I'm almost going to be kind of floating behind the camera. So here we'll get a shot into the kitchen. Same thing, get as much distance as possible.
Now, I mentioned this briefly while I was there, but you want to feel like you're leading the curve with your body and kind of floating behind the camera while simultaneously twisting the gimbal with your top wrist. I've found that this gives me the most control and smoothness in my curve. And a little bonus for ramping wide curve pushes together is you want to make sure that the two shots are curving in the same direction.
Okay, now this next shot is one of my favorite shots. It's the mid perspective. So I'm gonna have my lens at 24 millimeters. I'm gonna pick a central subject. In this case, we have the stove here. You can't really see it here, but you'll see here on the camera. We have the stove. I'm gonna bend down. I'm gonna get the island top in the foreground. I'm gonna be pushing around that island top. It's nice perspective, nice foreground. And you can do this anywhere, around countertops, around walls, around chairs. That is just a perfect shot to break things up from all your wide shots. Here's another example of a mid perspective, 24 mils. I'm actually gonna crouch down. Maybe you can see me, maybe you can't. But I'm gonna come around this chair, reveal that living room. Bang.
The reason it's so important to have that foreground in your mid perspectives is because it helps frame that central subject. And it also helps the shot feel a little bit more dynamic and engaging. You also want to push forward slightly and not just like a pan or a parallax. That slight forward movement is actually gonna kind of just help your shot feel a little less amateurish.
Okay, next shot is the slider shot. This is just a simple side to side movement. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna squat down. I'm gonna start all the way on one side. I'm just gonna move slowly over to the other side. Now, I don't use this shot that much often. It's pretty basic, it's pretty easy, but it is kind of cool to cut between 2 or 3, maybe even 4 slider shots all moving in the same direction. So I'll show you what that looks like here into the kitchen. I'm actually gonna zoom in to about 24 millimeters. I'm gonna start here. I'm just gonna slide over. I saw a little micro jitter, so I'm gonna do it again. Slide over. Here I'm gonna do it again in the living room. So again, I'm gonna start here, slide all the way over. and those will be cut in the edit to be in the same direction. Keep it nice and smooth.
Now you could even stop here if you wanted. Those 4 shots are your basics, your essentials, and you can create some really banger videos using just those 4 shots. But let's move on to some slightly more advanced shots to really help spice up your videos.
Okay, this next shot, I don't really have a name for it, maybe like the tilt reveal, but I got it from Eric Davidson, who is an absolute legend at real estate videography. But basically, as I'm kind of panning, as I'm doing a curve, I'm also gonna be tilting up with the camera. I'm gonna use the joystick to tilt up, and it's gonna reveal the space. It's gonna reveal this dining room. Camera's pointing down as I'm moving and curving. I'm gonna use the joystick to push up. We're gonna reveal that space. It's a great shot to do when you don't really have any foreground. Like I'm kind of in the middle of the house, there isn't really any foreground for me to use. So that's a great shot to just add some dynamics to what could really kind of be a boring shot. All right, so this next shot is called the Blondine shot or Inception shot. I learned this from Danny Bertolo. And what it is it's a wide straight push, but I'm gonna turn my gimbal to FPV mode. And as I'm pushing forward, I'm gonna be tilting or turning the gimbal, and the camera's gonna roll. So we'll do a wide straight push here into this bonus room. So I'm gonna start with the tilt. I'm gonna roll this one the opposite way. Push forward, roll. That's just a really cool shot.
Something I forgot to mention while I was on site about this shot, or more about the movement, is that I actually changed the settings on my RS3 Pro from FPV to a custom setting. So what I did is actually locked the tilt axis, because as I'm pushing forward and like twisting the gimbal in my hands, the gimbal actually is like kind of pointed forwards, and in regular FPV mode, that would cause the camera to tilt down. But because I locked that tilt axis, the camera will stay nice and level, because you don't want to be tilting up and down, especially in this rotating shot. It'll just mess up all the verticals and it'll look like complete garbage. Now there is one more shot that I just ended up running out of time to film an explainer at the property, but that is the tight perspective or detail shot. For this shot, I switched from my 15 to 35 millimeter lens to my 24 to 105 millimeter lens. For details, I'll shoot anywhere between 50 to 85 millimeters. Found that's kind of the sweet spot. Now the same rules apply to the detail shot as the mid perspective shot. Find something to use as foreground to reveal and frame your subject, and add that slight forward movement to make your shot feel more dynamic. So there you go. Those are all the shots that I use to film real estate videos. If you want to learn my editing secrets, click this video right here. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Now with that all said, here's the final video that I cooked up, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
I'll be with you again.